If the stars were made to worship, so will I.
Week 52, day 4. Now it happened after these things that the son of the woman who owned the house became sick. And his sickness was so serious that there was no breath left in him. He died. So she said to Elijah, What have I to do with you, O man of God? Have you come to me to kill my son? And he said to her, Give me your son. He carried him to the upper room and laid him on Elijah's own bed. And he stretched himself out on the child 3 times and cried out to the Lord and said, O Lord my God, I pray, let this child's soul come back to him. Then the Lord heard Elijah, and the soul of the child came back to him, and he revived. Then the woman said to Elijah, Now by this I know you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in your mouth is the truth. 1 Kings 17 through 24. When Elisha came into the house, there was a child lying dead on his bed. He went in, therefore, shut the door behind the 2 of them, and prayed to the Lord. And he went up and lay on this child, and put his mouth on his mouth, and his eyes on his eyes, and his hands on his hands. And he stretched himself out on the child, and the flesh of the child became warm. He again went up and stretched himself out on him, and the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called the Shunammite woman, the child's mother. She went in, fell at his feet, and bowed to the ground. Then she picked up her son and went out. 2 Kings 4:32 through 37. A couple of points here. These 2 moms were Gentiles. They weren't even Jews. These 2 prophets, Elijah and his successor, Elisha, were 2 of the greatest prophets of all time. Yet look how awkward and difficult these healings were to accomplish. They were able to perform absolutely spectacular miracles involving the physical world, but the healing of a human was pretty much off limits to them, and occurred only in these 2 families who were not under the law of Moses. Interesting, isn't it? And here's why. These Old Testament believers weren't covered by the atonement of Jesus Christ, and they weren't indwelt by the Holy Spirit. The Spirit would come upon them just temporarily and then leave. Their sins were covered by an inferior and temporary sacrificial system involving the blood of animals. But there was no sacrificial system in place for healing. Yet, that's why healing was virtually unheard of in Old Testament times. But do you see in the foregoing scriptures the reverse for the reverence for and interest in God these healings accomplished from heathens, that is, non-believers? And now we post-atonement believers have within us the power to heal others, and we have way more available to us than Elijah and Elisha did. We'll neatly tie up all this tomorrow and bring the series to a close. I'm kind of sad about that.